So I'm going to rant about misinformation. And in particular, I want to talk about misinformation around socialism. I think this is a very important thing that needs to be discussed in our country. We need to admit that as Americans, we don't know what socialism is. The fact that you've got a Tea Party movement and you've even got right to center Democrats criticizing socialism, and I'd like to ask how many of them have read the Communist Manifesto. I want to ask them, do they even know who Karl Marx is and what he stood for, and the difference between Stanislavski and Trotsky? Between Stalin and Trotsky, do they understand that difference? And the other thing is that when I think about socialism and individuals from like the Tea Party movement per se, if they really understood what socialism was, if they ever really bothered to read it and they weren't just talking heads parroting what they hear from the media, they might understand that they're the first ones who stand to gain from socialism. They would get that. And the Democrats would also get that they are not socialists. And the Tea Party would also get that Obama is not a socialist. It's offensive to call Obama a socialist because he's not a socialist. I wish he was a socialist. So misinformation has been created in a way by a group of individuals, you can look it up, like the Koch brothers, who are financing the Tea Party. And they want you to think that Obama is a socialist, and McCarthyism is still ingrained in the American mentality. It's still a part of us. And to a point that when we hear anything that has to do with socialism, we get scared. Yet you don't know what it is. You're scared of this boogeyman in a closet, and the boogeyman isn't there. It's like the little kid who's scared at night, and you open up the closet, and the boogeyman doesn't exist. But the boogeyman is the one that's putting you into bed. That's like the Koch brothers. That's like the individuals who funded Prop 8 in California. You know, these private organizations who call themselves for Americans. They're the ones who don't want you to know what socialism is. They're the ones who are creating a fake boogeyman. And therefore the Tea Party movement, because their gripes have to do with an experience that they're living, but it's misinformed. And then you've got the center Democrats who think they're socialist or liberal, but they're not liberal because they've never even read socialism. So there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's all this fighting, and the fighting is occurring because we don't know what we're talking about. And if we started to read and educate ourselves and not become parrots or echoes of what someone else tells us, then we'd be better informed and we'd actually be changing things. We wouldn't be reformists. We'd actually be creating real reform.